Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're having a great start to your week. Welcome to So What? I have some creative inspiration for you today for the spooky season because I hope we're all getting into the spirit of Halloween. I'm sure you're seeing all the costumes and everything hit the shelves. So I am pulling out all of my various Halloween projects weekly. I've been talking about Halloween things for a couple weeks now on So What. So if you missed any of those and you're interested in some more Halloween inspiration, you can check out our So What playlist on YouTube and kind of scroll through or even just search Halloween. You will find so many videos, projects, patterns, all those great things so you can create table runners and wall hangings and even get some help along the way if you're making costumes this year. Let me know in the comments if you are making costumes and if you've started those because I have not. And I know it's something with Halloween, we're always sewing the night before or at least making adjustments or additions, or in the case of my children, completely changing our costume the day before. It's been known to happen. It's also been known to happen that my girls will have 3 different costumes. And you know what? I'm here for it. So I encourage the creativity. And I think Halloween is just so fun. We get to dress up and be whoever we want for a night. So all that being said, I have a fun little machine embroidery design that is free right now at sulky.com. It is called the Talk About Today. Click on that See More button, or it might just say More at the bottom right of your screen, and then the whole description will pop out and you will find the link for this design. You do need to add it to your cart at sulky.com. Go through the checkout process and it will say $0 and you will be able to download it after quote unquote purchasing it for that $0. So this picture right here, this t-shirt was actually created using the design, but the design was brought into software and enlarged a little bit. It is already quite a large design. I think it's a little bit under 4 inches tall and a little bit over 7.5 inches wide. So that's a good size embroidery design. It's really great for bordering like a table runner. If you have a table runner that hangs off of your table a little bit, you could put the little trio of ghosts in the part that overhangs your table. That would be really cute. You can also make it a little bit smaller and use it to trim up towels and things like that. So I'm going to give you some inspiration for how to use the design and also some tips for stabilizer, thread, combination, so that we have our recipes for success depending on how you want to use that free design. Let's see. Another piece of news. I have this great giveaway today during So What for one lucky viewer who is watching, commenting, somehow engaging with the post, whether that's dropping me a note in the live chat, giving me those great emojis, something like this. That's all you have to do to be eligible to win today's gift from Sulky, which is our Halloween thread assortment. So you get 13 spools of thread, lucky number 13, and you get metallics and rayon and all these great colors that you see here, which could work for your trio of ghosts design as well. You've got some whites, some blacks, all these different oranges. And I don't know if you noticed, but in this trio of ghost design, there's a lot of shading and whatnot in the pumpkin. It's a little bit hard to see in that image, but I'll show you it close up in a little bit. So it's a really great thread collection, not only for that embroidery design, but some others I'm going to show you today. And of course, all of your great other Halloween makes. So this is going to be our giftie today for one lucky viewer, and it's valued at over $55. So it's an amazing little door prize from Sulky. That's right. Thank you, Sulky. Let's see. What else do I have to talk about before we get started? Ooh, Has everyone entered to win our National Sewing Month sweepstakes with Kimberbell? This is happening for the month of September. So you have until September 30th to enter to win. And it's over $380 worth of sewing supplies, thread, kits, education, an entire quilt kit from Kimberbell, including all these really cute machine embroidery designs, the threads, the fabrics rather, even the batting is included for the Kimberbell kit. So this is a really amazing sweepstakes you can enter to win. All you need to do is provide an email address. You can also share out the contest to others and get more chances to win that way. I think I may have forgotten to link to the contest, of course, because I always forget something. But we will put that in the comments today so you can head on over and be sure to enter to win and share that out. It's a great way to celebrate National Sewing Month. Why not restock your sewing room, right? Get some new threads. Get a slimline container to keep your threads nice and tidy. All the things. Okay. Also, today is the day, everyone. If you registered for our Sabrina bag session in partnership with Sally Tomato, today is the day that all the videos are available for viewing. You can get your Sabrina pattern. You will get your 6 Sashiko templates. If you are working with the blue colorway, the Sashiko templates need to be printed onto Stick and Stitch Stabilizer to transfer the design of your choice. You can use the design shown here. You can use this beautiful design. This is the one I'm making into mine. I promise I'm going to get to it this week. I keep showing it to you in this way. This one still needs to be rinsed away, but this is another design, and you can orient it this way, or you can orient it this way on your bag. There's also this really cool design that I'm still working on. And if you did get the blue kit, but you would rather do machine quilting, you can certainly still follow those stitching lines, use those templates, and follow all the lines with your sewing machine. So this one's in progress. I love Sashiko. It's kind of like, I don't know, it gives like a vintage vibe to the bag. And this piece is only like, I want to say about 6.5 by 19, something like that. So you really aren't going to spend the rest of 2025 doing this hand embroidery. And it's just a series of running stitches. So we're not getting too complicated here. All of this looks so impressive, and it's just a series of running stitches, right? So the secret is really in that stick and stitch pattern that you're following, and then it rinses away once your embroidery is complete. And you can tell everyone you did this by hand, and no transfer marks are needed to, figure out how to wash out, or heat removable markers that somehow return again once your bag is in the cold weather, things like this. Stick and stitch is really the answer to this beautiful bag. If you got the brown colorway kit from Sally Tomato, this one features machine quilting only, really, because it's faux leather, and faux leather is just really difficult to hand embroider. You would need some heavy, heavy duty thimbles, and I mean, I guess you could try it, but I don't recommend it. The machine quilting on that one is much, much easier. And you can choose a matching thread like the Poly Deco shown in this picture, or you can choose a heavyweight thread, which is what we used for handwork, but you can use it in your machine. Look how striking that is. You can just, the thread just pops off of the surface because it's so heavyweight. And yes, you can use this thread in your sewing machine. You just need a big enough needle. So grab up a size 100 needle, or 116 it will say, and you can do machine quilting using that beautiful heavyweight thread. Everything is included in the session, the patterns, the Sashiko templates, all the videos showing you not only how to embellish Sabrina, but also how to construct her, from the handles to the straps to the hardware to the lining to the base. All of it is explained very, very thoroughly in video form. You get 14 videos, I believe, for this session, and they're all broken up into these really great manageable chunks. So you can work on the handle one afternoon and then go back to it and then start working on your exterior and so on. So you don't have to sit down and be super overwhelmed and try to make the entire bag all in one sitting and try to remember where you left off in the video, all those things. The videos are already sectioned off for you, and the platform remembers where you left off. So the next time you come to start sewing again and finish up your bag, you simply go back to sewingonline.sulky.com, log into the session, and then you can pick up right where you left off. So amazing. And yes, the blendable thread on the brown, Colleen, so pretty. I did not do that one on my sample, but I did switch off from the cream thread to like a light tan thread. It's hard to see in the video, but one stripe is the cream and then one stripe is a light tan. It's a really subtle shading difference, but I think it looks really pretty across that faux leather piece. So I've got at least 2 bags to make to get my Sabrinas finished. But again, it comes together so easily when you have these videos to guide you. And, you know, if you're ever working your way through a pattern, or if it's your first time working your way through a pattern, maybe you don't understand some of the language in the pattern. Maybe something is confusing to you the way it's written. I mean, Sally Tomato patterns are really, really thoughtfully put together. But there are some times where I question myself, you know, oh, do they mean to do XYZ, or, you know, and then I just have to kind of wing it. Well, with these videos, you don't have to wing anything because you're seeing exactly what the designer intended, because Jessica Barrera, the designer of this pattern, is the one guiding you through the videos. Except for the embellishment, that's my part. All right. Colleen wants to know, do you sell extra time for sewing? Because I could really use some. Unfortunately, no. Don't we wish we all had some extra time for sewing? I mean, I have more UFOs sitting around me right now than I think I have had in maybe ever. I have so many in progress things right now, and my sewing space is such a complete mess. I don't know if it's because, you know, I work on things about 3 months before I ever bring them to you all. And I'm working on so many different things at the same time. It's really the craziest multitasking I ever. I mean, a behind the scenes documentary on what actually goes on here might be interesting, or terrifying. But anyway, I have so many irons in the fire right now, and I'm really, really heavily into holiday makes, and I can't wait to bring those to you. I've got some new things, some things I think are new, but maybe you're going to tell me, ugh, we've been doing that forever, or what have you. I'm always trying to reinvent the wheel, but sometimes the classics have to come in there as well. Anyway, let's see. Jana says, is this the first Sulky Sashiko project, or are there others? We do have other Sashiko projects, but not necessarily full kits like what Sally Tomato has provided for the Sabrina session. Oh, and I did want to mention, someone said in the beginning, can we still register? And yes, you can still register for that Sabrina session for the end of time, really, because once that session is activated, it's there for purchase whenever you're ready. And the content never expires. It's not a live event like our webcasts, but even with our live events, we record them all, and then they become these recorded live events that you can watch whenever you want. So even if you missed a past event at sewingonline.sulky.com, you can go in and register for that event and watch everything, pause, rewind, fast forward, get all the information for what was presented. it's just a really, really amazing resource. So I really encourage you, even if it's past that live event or if it's a session that you think is over because, it was active last month, like our straps session, you can go and make beautiful custom embroidered straps, maybe even one for your Sabrina bag. So I really encourage you to check out the library, the education offerings, add those things to your library. And then as you have a pocket of time, as you're buying time, Colleen, you can go in and watch an entire webcast, video cast, participate in a session, all those things. All right, let's see. Stephanie says, I do think that would be interesting. A documentary on how the So What is made. We'll see. And yes, I do have kids. I am lucky to get anything done. Man, it just never stops, but I know one day I will miss it. So, I'm trying to relish it all and enjoy it all. Okay, let's see. Love that you are partnering with Sally Tomato. They are so great to work with. Their patterns are so thoughtfully put together. There is always a new style of bag as well. It's just amazing how many they have to choose from. I love making bags. They're just, love it. Anne says, it's just in time to replace some old Halloween shirts. I feel you, girl. You know what? I love embroidery on shirts, especially because I cook a lot. I cook almost every single night. My family and we never go out to eat, really, unless it's a special occasion. First off, it's so expensive. Secondly, I have 3 children who now eat like linebackers. And it's just not practical. It really, they want 2 entrees. I mean, it's crazy. All that being said, I cook a lot and I put on a shirt out of the wash and I'm like, what the heck? What are all these, like grease stains and things like this in my shirt? So machine embroidery is a really great way to breathe new life into those shirts. I mean, some of the ones I have are like brand new and there's like a grease spot right in the front of it. I know, wear an apron, do the things, but here we are. So machine embroidery is a great way to cover up those things with some cute thread. And, then you can wear an apron because you remember, oh yeah, this is the shirt I already messed up. Let's not do that again. All right, let's see. Oh, Maria also wants to buy some time. If we could get that on the Sulky website, we would be golden, right? All right, Esther says, has everyone received their Sabrina kit? Mine hasn't shipped yet. So the good news, Esther, is it's not a live event. So when your kit comes, you can go in and start the session whenever it's convenient for you. I do know they sold out of both of their kits and they replenished them. So I think they're probably still making the kits and trying to get them out as quickly as possible. But don't worry, it's not a live webcast. It is a session. So the difference between that is our live webcasts happen on a day and a time, and that's when they're live. But again, they are all recorded. So those are also accessible at any time after that live event. Our sessions are all recorded. There's nothing live about them. So you won't miss anything if your kit comes a little bit later. All right, let's see. Anita says, I don't think I own a shirt that doesn't have a grease spot. All right, well, let's cover it up with some embroidery. All right, let's see. That is Sabrina. What else are we going to talk about? I think we're ready to get... Oh, excuse me. Who is coming on our Greece trip? I saw earlier in the chat, someone said they went on our London trip and it went by so fast. I have to say hello. I'm going to try and find you. So our London trip was a couple of years ago. I actually brought my son with us on the London trip, and it was so amazing. On one of our very last days, we found this little fabric store, and a bunch of us went over to the fabric store and purchased up all this Liberty of London fabric at like such good prices. And we just had a blast, just like speed shopping. And the people in this fabric store were just like getting out the scissors, and like they had never seen anything like it. They were so happy to have us. But anyway, that was such a great trip. Oh, Tracy, here we go. I was on the trip with you to Downton Abbey. Hey, I love that so much. So you have to come to Greece now. That trip has been too long ago, so it's time for you to pack your bags again. You can join us in Greece in 2026. Oh, I see you again. That was me, Tracy. Hey, girl. Let's see. Yes, your husband came. See, everyone always asks me, can I bring my husband? Is he going to have a good time? So now that Tracy is with us, she can share that, it's not just for the ladies. And also, if you're a solo traveler, it's absolutely perfect. If you've always wanted to go, travel internationally, but you don't have someone to go with, or you're nervous about traveling alone, or you're nervous with traveling with a friend or family member even, this is the way to do it, because Craft Tours takes care of you. We are all in this together. If, anything is concerning to you, you can have a buddy. You can hang with me for the day, or the week, or what have you. I mean, it's such a great way to travel. You don't have to make any of the arrangements yourself. You show up and you're like, where are we going today? And you just go with the flow. And it is the best way to travel and see all of these bucket list locations. I'm going to be singing the whole score of Mamma Mia when we are in Santorini. So that might affect your decision whether you want to hang out with me or not. Yeah, Tracy says he was the only husband and the ladies loved it. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, so consider our Greece tour. You can find the link for it in the description of today's post, all the way down at the bottom. That'll take you to the Sulky Greece tour. You can check out the itinerary, the pricing, all of that good stuff, and hopefully join us in 2026. And someone said, I can't wait to hear about next year's trips. Me too. I'm so excited to bring you that information. We are still working on finalizing the at least the not the bare bones, but at least the non-final itinerary, I guess you could say. So yes, there are more coming, and you can always tell me, where do you want to go? Maybe it's been on our list, but we haven't, done that quite yet, or something like that. So let us know, where do you want to travel? We want to take you there. You're with people who love to sew, quilt, and create. You're with your Sulky family, and it's so fun. All right. I'm also finalizing our hands-on workshop kit for Germany. We are all going, well, not all of us, but some of you are coming with me to our Christmas market tour in Germany and Austria this winter. And I will be doing a hands-on workshop, as I do with all of our tours. So I'm finalizing that, and I think that's going to be really enjoyable as well. All right. Okay, so should we get to the trio of ghosts? This is what it's going to look like when you go to the Sulky website and you grab up your embroidery design. Trio of ghosts, machine embroidery design. Again, add it to your cart. Go through the checkout process. It will say $0. You can add other things as well if you want to grab up that Halloween thread assortment that we are giving away today to one lucky viewer who is watching and commenting and doing those great emojis. Ooh, you also need to have liked either our Facebook page if you're watching there, or subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching there. Otherwise, I will not be able to contact you in a non-spammy way, if that makes any sense. So make sure you've done those things as well, and then you can be eligible to win that thread collection. It doesn't totally go with all of the threads that are in this design, but you can make it work. As you can see, you've got a couple of greens on the pumpkins, 3 different orange colors for that shading, and then you've got your white ghosts, the black outline. So this is a great thread assortment to grab up for this stitch out, and then you'll have some extra colors as well for some other Halloween-y things that you want to work on, like perhaps our Halloween Pinnacle Table Runner. This is a kit that is at sulky.com. You can grab that up. I will talk about this momentarily as well. This is an in the hoop embroidery design. It says the witch is in on one side and the witch is out on the other. So it's really great for your front door, the door of your crafting room, what have you. Really great for teachers as well. We gifted a couple to my kids' teachers last year, and they absolutely loved it for Halloween. When they were out of the classroom, they could just flip it over and say, the witch is out. All right. So that's what your design's going to look like. So let's first talk about the t-shirt project. Okay, so this was the enlarged design, and it was enlarged quite a bit. I only recommend doing this if you have software, because if you try to enlarge the design on your machine screen, you could have problems with the stitches getting longer and further apart. If you're using software, the software itself can kind of fill in those areas with extra stitches. So that's why software is really important if you want to do something like this and make the design even larger than it is. All right. So for t-shirt embroidery, you likely already know that when you're embroidering a t-shirt on a home sewing machine, you basically are embroidering a little bit blindly, as I would consider it, because you have to turn your shirt wrong side out in order to get it on your stabilizer in the hoop. That way you're not embroidering through the back of your shirt as well, right? So we have to turn it inside out, stick it to our stabilizer in the hoop, and then move the rest of the shirt out of the way of the needle path so that it doesn't get caught, right? So you're kind of embroidering a little bit blindly. It's very important when you're doing a t-shirt, especially with a large design that's going to span, let's say, the whole front of a shirt. This shirt says "Got Sanitizer." I made it back in the COVID days when we were all really diligently using a lot of hand sanitizer. But it was a gift for a teacher friend of mine, and she wore it when the kids finally could come back to school. So it said "Got Sanitizer." I thought it was kind of hilarious. But anyway, this was a larger design that spanned the whole front of the shirt, much like the trio of ghosts. So you really need to be sure that you are hovering your finger over that start and stop button on your embroidery machine during the stitch out, that you're watching where the needle is traveling, where it's going to next on a jump thread, so that if that extra t-shirt fabric is in the way, you can quickly stop the machine, move that extra fabric away from that new stitching path, and then start it again. So very, very important to not leave your embroideries really ever. I mean, I have been known to like start a thread color and then turn around and work on my computer. And even then, my eyes aren't on the prize, right? So something like this, a t-shirt, a onesie, whenever we're embroidering blindly, very, very important to just hover your finger over that start-stop button so that you don't have any problems with catching that extra fabric during the stitch out. All right. The other thing about t-shirts is I like to start off using Sulky Soft and Sheer Stabilizer, not a fusible stabilizer, not a tearaway stabilizer. I like to use soft and sheer stabilizer with t-shirt knits. Soft and sheer is a very soft and sheer stabilizer that is a cutaway stabilizer, meaning when you go to remove this from the hoop, the stabilizer, because the only thing in your hoop is the stabilizer, you want to trim away the stabilizer close to your perimeter stitching line, and it will support the thread over the life of the garment. As long as you are cutting away around that stitching line, you will still have the flexibility of your t-shirt as well, and the stabilizer is like a floating second layer. It's not floating entirely, it's only floating around the stitching. So when you go to wear it, wash it, all of those things, you still get the stretch around the stitching that you need when you're wearing a t-shirt, but it's still supporting the thread over the life of the garment. Another very important thing when you are embroidering t-shirts, here's our finished embroidery with the Got sanitizer design, is to add tender touch over the back of your design after it is sewn, or after the embroidery is complete. Now, this is a fusible stabilizer, but it's very lightweight. It feels like silk against your skin, and it's going to protect your skin from any scratchy stitching that you might have from your bobbin thread on the back of your t-shirt. The thing about tender touch is it will inhibit some of that stretch when you're wearing the shirt, but quite honestly, not all of it. In my experience, it's so lightweight that you still get a good drape from your t-shirt. So when your embroidery is complete, you can see I have trimmed my soft and sheer stabilizer very close to my stitching line. You can even go in between your letters, or you would definitely go in between your ghosts, right? Your ghost trio, to trim away your excess stabilizer. Then you're going to cut a piece of tender touch stabilizer that's just a little bit bigger than your design. This is also really important for children's wear, especially baby onesies, where that bobbin thread might really affect, their precious skin. If you look at any wrong side of a ready-to-wear embroidered garment, even a garment like a fleece that has a logo on it, if you turn that inside out, you will see a stabilizer that's covering those stitches. In walks Tender Touch Stabilizer. All right, so I have had much greater success cutting the Tender Touch with pinking shears or a wavy rotary blade. When you have just a straight line cut on your Tender Touch, over time, the little corners and the edges might try to roll to the right side, especially if you wash your t-shirt a million times, which don't we all wash our t-shirts so frequently? So having that pinked edge, it just allows the Tender Touch to kind of fuse a little bit better along the outer perimeter of your design, and it just has greater longevity. I've also started seeing more and more people out there, hand embroiderers, people with, YouTube channels. Maybe you've been seeing people using our Stick and Stitch product to do embroideries, on a sweatshirt, something like that. They are all starting to use Tender Touch because they've realized that this fusible stabilizer, not only does it protect your skin from the backside of your stitches, but it also seals them up pretty good. So if you're doing handwork and you have thread tails, or maybe you have a minuscule knot here or there where you've started and stopped a particular color, it will seal those stitches so that when you go to pull it over your head, or maybe it's on a sleeve and you're rolling up your sleeves, or even just putting your hand inside of the garment, you don't catch on your stitching on the back and pull it out or compromise it in a different way. So that Tender Touch not only is for feeling good against your skin, but also sealing up those stitches. So if you are somebody who embroiders a lot of t-shirts, or you plan to embroider some t-shirts, maybe the trio of ghosts for, a cute little family photo for Halloween or whatnot, get some Tender Touch. It will really elevate your projects from homemade to professional, and contribute to the longevity of your projects. Okay. So here we have the Tender Touch that's just cut in a straight line, but you would want to go along those edges with a pinking shears or wavy rotary blade or something like that, to get a better bond. And then you want to set your iron really low. I know a lot of us like to just throw it on the cotton setting, have it waiting in the wings, but not for this stuff. This is delicate. It has fusible on it. We don't want it too hot. First off, we don't want to burn it. Secondly, we don't want it so hot that we're melting the fusible and it's seeping out along the edges, or it loses its effectiveness. So a light to medium temp on your iron, and you just want to pick your iron up, fuse it, pick it up, fuse it. Do not iron back and forth. The same thing will happen. It'll start shifting, or the fusible will ooze out, and we don't want that. All right, so that is tips for your t-shirt embroidery. Next up, we have our cute little gingham towel blank. You will need to make your design a little bit smaller, either only 20% on your machine screen, or you can use software and resize your design depending on where you want to put it on your towel, because this design is almost 8 inches wide, which could work on a towel that you're hanging in your bathroom, depending on how you're going to fold it and hang it. But I love the little gingham trim on these towels that we have at Sulky.com. We actually have quite a few towel blanks at Sulky.com. You can get them in packs, or you can buy them individually. But I thought this lime green color was just perfect for the trio of ghosts. And I also, of course, love the black and white. So I don't know how many of you have like a decor scheme for Halloween. Maybe you're going all black and white this year. Maybe it's all traditional and the purples and the grays and all that. But I'm pretty sure we have a trimmed gingham towel that would work for your decor scheme. I went to Michael's the other day to kind of check out some Halloween things and get some new like spooky floral fronds and things like that. I like to put them in various, vases and wreaths and stuff like that for Halloween. And they had basically 3 very distinct Halloween decor styles and all kinds of products within those. So there was black and white, like all black and white, no red thrown in at all. And then there was a pink and like silver, with like ghost disco balls and all kinds of pink skulls and things like that. And then there was also a lime green and pumpkin. So very on trend are we with our trio of ghost design. You could also create a set of napkins using your cute design. We have some napkin blanks, or just really simple tea towels. I love grabbing these up in packs. This is a pack of 6 that we have at Sulky.com. It comes in a white and a natural color. I love creating these for little gift sets. You can embroider a tea towel, put it with one of those cute printed spatulas that they have. I even saw them at the dollar store. Maybe put it with a little cookie mix or a brownie mix. Tie it with a ribbon. Really cute, inexpensive way to personalize a little Halloween gift. Maybe you do, what are they called? Boo baskets, or, maybe you boo your neighbors. Have you all heard of this trend? We used to do it at my previous employment, where it's kind of like having a secret Santa, but it's just for one day. and you go and boo someone. So you would either like decorate their cubicle or just give them a cute little Halloween themed gift on their chair, and nobody knows, who it's from. And then at our Halloween party, kind of at the end of the season, we would do a little reveal and everyone knows who got booed by whom. And it's just a cute, fun little thing to do. This would be a perfect little cute gift for something like that, or maybe for your neighbors. So grab up, a pack of tea towel blanks and you're good to go with that one freebie design. And I wanted to mention too, if you do want more education or information about embroidering towels, embroidering different types of towels, right? We've got tea towels, kitchen towels, bath towels, terry cloth towels, waffle weave towels. There are so many different types of towels, and that's going to really matter with your stabilizer choice, because what stabilizer we use is directly related to what fabric we are embroidering. All right. So if you would like more information on that, we have a great session at sewingonline.sulky.com. So when you're over there signing in for your Sabrina bag video of the day, or however you want to work your way through that session, you can add the all the towels embroidery sewing session to your library as well. You will get a huge collection of embroidery designs from Embroidery Library and Urban Threads. So all 5 designs that you see here are included with purchase of this session. And then you get full step-by-step videos for how to embroider these 5 different towel types: a linen towel, a tea towel, a waffle weave towel, a loopy terry cloth towel, literally all the towels. Okay. So this would be really helpful if you do plan on, creating some cute little tea towel gifts, and you need to add thread count to those towels, or you want the stabilizer to be completely removed so that your towel looks just as great on the wrong side as it does the right side. So all of these tips and videos and everything are included in this session, along with these 5 designs that you see here. And wanted to bring it to your attention because our kit for the All the Towels session is on sale right now until midnight tonight. Right? Today's the 9th. Yes, just making sure. Until midnight tonight, you can get this kit for a really great deal. It comes with the 5 towels that you see here, that linen in the oatmeal color, some tea towels, that terry cloth towel, all the towels I just mentioned. You also get a stabilizer sampler, some Fabrisolve, all these great thread colors that coordinate with the designs I just showed you, and then a few solid Kona cotton fabrics that you can use for applique designs, like the popsicle one that I just showed you here. So you can make all of these towels, or you can use these towels with your trio of ghost design, Halloween designs, things like that. I also thought it would be really cute to have a tea towel set with the witches in and witches out design. So instead of making this as a freestanding in the hoop wall hanging or wall hanger, you could just isolate this design, skip all the steps for, outline stitching and all of that. Just do the motif stitching on the bottom of a tea towel and then make a sister towel with the witches out motif. So cute, right? So when you're in the kitchen and working, you can have the witches in displayed. And then when the kitchen is closed, you can put the witches out towel out. Love that. So all of you that said, I already got the witches in and I made it last year, now you can make it on a towel. So cute. All right, let's see. What else do I have to show you? Ooh, another thing. So, obviously I get this question a lot. What stabilizer do I use? Well, as I mentioned, stabilizer is really dependent on the fabric that you're using. But sometimes you can use this stabilizer or this stabilizer on your chosen fabric. So then it's like this inner struggle of, okay, well, I can use both of these. So which one is going to be best? Well, sometimes it really has to do with the removal method. So if you have the choice between two, but you want to be able to wash away your stabilizer, then go with that option. Or you have the choice between these two, but you don't want to wash it away because you're giving this as a gift. Well, then go with the other option that's not a wash away. I'm just making it up, but you get the idea. If you are ever on the fence or you want to make sure that you're making the right choice, you can head to sulky.com and find our stabilizer selection tool. This is under our resources and inspiration at the top of our website. You click on resources and inspiration and you go down to our stabilizer selector tool. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm going to share my screen here so that you can navigate there because you need to bookmark this page. It is such a good resource for all of your sewing. You can put it on your iPad, your tablet, your phone, whatever, bookmark it. And then the next time you're doing an embroidery project, just cross-reference it with the choice that you have made and make sure that, you're making a great choice. It just really kind of cuts out that what am I trying to say? The indecisiveness or the questions you might have. So here's what it looks like when you head over to it at sulky.com. So you would go to this area, resources and inspiration, up at the top, and then select the stabilizer selector tool. You're going to choose the technique that you are working on. Look at all these techniques. All right, so whether it is an applique, lace, buttonholes, computerized embroidery applique, all these different embroidery types. So medium density, light density, quilting, red work. If you're doing cut work, if you're doing crochet by hand, this is not just for machine embroidery. It's for all these different techniques. Look, sashiko is even on here. Thread sketching, trapunto. You get the idea. It's a very extensive list. So I'm just going to go with computerized embroidery, medium density. Then I'm going to select my fabric and I'm going to say, what should we say? Look at all these options. It's very, very extensive. Let's say terry cloth towel, since we're talking about towels. Okay. And look, boom, suggested backing, sticky plus, stiffy, super solvy as a topping. These are my recommendations. All right. I can also say, okay, I want to do a medium density design on, let's get really interested. What? Let's say microfiber. That would be another, towel type. Terry is my suggested backing and my topper is not required. So I really just don't think this gets enough attention because it is such a great resource. I've never seen anything like it on the internet. And you can imagine all the work that went into building this tool at sulky.com. And I just highly, highly suggest you check that out. Not only for towel projects, obviously, not only for machine embroidery projects. It's just an amazing, amazing resource for you. So check that out at sulky.com. All right. Anita says, that's super amazing. I like how the photos show up also. It makes it really easy to know what to purchase. Yeah. And all of our stabilizers are also color coded for you, depending on how the stabilizer is removed. So the blue stabilizers are water soluble. So that kind of makes sense, right? Our cutaway stabilizers are all purple. Our tearaways are all green. So you get the idea, right? We're trying to make it a little bit easier for you to identify things as you organize them in your sewing room and when you are purchasing them as well. All right. Maria says it's a very helpful tool. I use it often. I'm so glad to hear that. Love that. Cheryl loves it as well, uses it all the time. Love that. Perfect. All right, well, I'm so glad that some of you are aware of it. And for those of you who are not, check it out. You are going to go back to it again and again. It's just really, really amazing. And a number of you have said, I made this witches in, witches out hanger. But for those of you who didn't, I just wanted to bring it to your attention because it is at sulky.com. You can either grab up the embroidery design file, which comes with the witches in design, the witches out design, and it's an in the hoop design. So you're actually creating this in 2 hoopings. You create one of the panels and remove it from the machine, create the other panel, and then you put one panel over the other in the hoop and it sews around it, leaving an opening for turning. It's going to attach your little hanger, whichever hanger style you want to use. You turn it right side out, and all you need is a little bit of hand sewing to finish up your wall hanging. Everything is done in the hoop. It's a really, really fun design. Here's what it looks like a little bit closer up. And I don't know if you can tell, but the little spider in the design is sewn out with our filaine thread. It's a 12 weight acrylic thread, and it does require some special handling from your machine. First off, you need a really big needle that has a large eye. You need that size 116 needle. I like to use our titanium needle, especially in a dense design like this spider, where you are stitching with really thick thread and you're stitching at a little bit higher speed. I still slow my machine down as low as it will go, but you will notice when the spider stitches out, it is stitching longer straight stitches, almost like long and short stitches if you're thinking about it in the hand embroidery arena, that are much longer to accommodate the thickness of that thread. The thread also has texture to it. So when your spider is done stitching, you can brush it out with our filaine wire brush. Where is mine? You can brush out the fibers and your spider becomes a hairy 3D spider with lots of texture and like a faux furriness. All right. So you also need to use a much, much lighter thread in the bobbin when you are using filaine. I use a 60 weight bobbin thread, and I use the black 60 weight bobbin thread so it matches my black filaine thread on the top. Another great tip, you must do this, is disable your auto thread cutter function on your embroidery machine when you are sewing out the spider. If you don't do this, what's happening is when it starts the stitch out, it's going to pull that upper thread to the wrong side, and it's going to create sort of like a little knot. So then when your needle goes over the top of that and it's on the wrong side, you're going to have so much density where that began that your needle will not be able to penetrate through the fabric, through the thread, through the stabilizer, all of it. Just that little bit of thread on the wrong side and that little knot is going to cause your stitch out to not want to perform correctly right from the start. So disable your auto thread cutter function. So what will happen instead is your machine will start stitching, and ideally it will stop itself so that you can trim your thread tail from the top of the fabric. If it does not stop itself, you will just need to manually stop it after a few stitches, clip that beginning thread tail from the top of your fabric, and then continue with the spider portion of the stitch out. So lots of tips for sewing with filaine thread, but those are really the top ones to remember. So this is the witch's inside of the design. Oh, I wanted to mention too, you can grab up this design as an individual machine embroidery file, so just a digital file. You can add that to your cart, maybe when you are getting your free Trio of Ghosts design at sulky.com. It's $9.99 for the whole design, and again, you get the witches in, witches out as an in the hoop project file. You can also grab it up as a palette. So when you grab the palette, it's going to come with 8 spools of thread, including that spool of filaine that you need for the spider. So these are all the threads that you get with the design. You do get a lot of black thread because it takes a lot of black thread. All of the motif elements are all satin stitches. So you can see just how much black thread is needed for both of these stitch outs. You will have a little bit left over, but we wanted to make sure that you definitely had enough. And you also, again, get a spool of that filaine thread, a couple of spools of it, so that you can stitch out that spider, which is also very dense. Okay. Here is what the other side looks like. So the witch is out, so you can just flip that over when you're leaving the house or what have you. And it's just so cute. I love the little witch legs, and it's just adorable. Also, the little skirt portion is an applique element. So you'll want to use the fabric of your choice for that little strip of skirting on the witch's legs. I chose a pretty purple fabric that I just had in my stash. I mean, I think you need maybe a 2-inch by 4-inch piece of fabric. That's it for both sides, of course. And I also like to use Sulky Perfect Applique Fusible Web, even when I'm doing in the hoop applique. So fuse that to your applique fabric wrong side, get rid of the paper backing, go through all of the motions of your applique process in the hoop, trim away the fabric, and then fuse it down before moving forward with the satin edge stitching of the design. In order to do that, you do not want to remove your fabric from the hoop. So if you do not have one of those little craft irons, or maybe you have a tiny little craft iron that you can remove your hoop from the machine, put it on a wool pressing mat or something similar, quickly fuse your little skirt fabric in place, and then place it back onto the machine, after trimming it, of course. If you don't have one of those little irons, then wait until your whole design is complete, and then you can fuse it down a little bit, trying to, keep your iron away from your beautiful stitching. All right, so I wanted to show you too, I mentioned it's done in 2 stitch outs, and then you combine them in your second stitch out. So there are placement markings for you to put one of your panels over the top of the other, and you can use some Sulky clear embroidery tape. I just re-upped on this because I was running out. Sulky clear embroidery tape, it comes with 2 things of tape, and this stuff is so great. I use it all the time. You can create smaller sections of it really simply and easily. It tears really cleanly, so if you accidentally sew over it, you can just tear it away beyond the stitching line and it won't harm any of your stitching. And I accidentally stitch over it all the time, which is why I was so happy that Sulky came up with this tape. I also like that it's clear so you can see what's happening underneath it as well. And it's reusable probably up to at least 3 times. So I just have like a stash taped on the corner of my table here. And when I go to do another embroidery project, maybe I'm making several of these to give them as gifts, I can head on over and grab a piece of tape and keep using it until it loses its effectiveness. So this is really, really great stuff, especially for in the hoop projects. After you match up your witches in and witches out panels, you can tape to secure those edges, make sure nothing shifts, and then do your final stitching line on your embroidery machine. All right, and then you have your really cute fuzzy little spider there. So when your stitch out is complete, you can brush it up with your Villain wire brush and create some really cool 3D effects with your cute little spider. So I just wanted to mention that because I did hang it up today, and I knew if I didn't mention it, someone would say, hey, where is that design? What is up with it? So Halloween Pinnacle Table Runner Kit. This is at sulky.com. You can grab up your Witches In, either the machine embroidery design, which includes all the in the hoop files, or you can grab up the palette as well, which comes with 8 thread spools featured in that design. You can also grab up our really great Halloween thread assortment. This is mostly rayons with some hollow shimmer gold thrown in the mix for all of your great Halloween makes. And this is our giveaway today for one lucky viewer who is watching, commenting, either like us on Facebook if you're watching there, or subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching there. And you could win this really great thread assortment valued at over $55. All right, everyone. I hope I got you a little bit more into the spooky spirit of things, and have a great time getting creative in your sewing room today. I'll see you next Tuesday for another So What?